The supermarket was crowded that afternoon, the kind of place where everyone moved fast, heads down, rushing through their errands. Among them stood James Walker, a single dad, a decorated veteran, and a man who had learned to live with silence after war, but never with injustice. He had come with his little girl, Emily, to grab a few groceries before heading home. He wasn't expecting the moment that would change everything, not for him, not for his daughter, and not for a woman he had never met. Near the self-checkout, a commotion broke out. James heard raised voices, saw a woman in her late 30s being grabbed by a store security guard. She looked worn out, her hair tied back, her face pale, and her hands trembling. The guard was accusing her of shoplifting. People stopped to stare, some whispered, some smirked, but no one stepped forward. That's what stung James the most, how easily people watched someone else's dignity fall apart without even blinking. Emily tugged at her father's hand. "Daddy, why is that man yelling at her?" she asked softly, her innocent eyes filled with worry. James bent down, looked at his daughter, and whispered, "Because sometimes people get treated unfairly. But we don't stay quiet when that happens." The guard kept insisting she had stolen items. The woman's voice shook as she tried to explain. "I paid for everything. Check the receipt. Please, I'm not a thief." But the guard didn't want to listen. He was loud, rude, and already calling the police. James could see the woman's hands twitching, not with guilt, but with frustration and humiliation. Something inside James snapped. He had fought overseas for freedom, for dignity, for justice. He had lost brothers in arms, watched his own soul break apart and then rebuild in pieces. He couldn't stand by and let a stranger, especially a woman, be crushed under false accusations. He stepped forward. "That's enough," James said, his voice steady but commanding, the kind of tone that silenced even the noisiest rooms. The guard turned, annoyed, but the look in James's eyes made him falter. Years of discipline and fire lived behind that gaze. "You're accusing her without proof. Show the evidence. Roll back the cameras. Until then, you don't get to treat her like a criminal." The crowd murmured. Phones came out, recording. The woman's eyes widened, relief flickering for the first time. But the guard scoffed. "And who are you to interfere?" James straightened his back, his chest rising with quiet pride. "I'm a father teaching my daughter what's right. I'm a veteran who's seen enough injustice to know what it looks like. And I'm not going to let you ruin this woman's life without cause." The tension in the air was sharp. Finally, the store manager arrived, irritated at the scene. James insisted they check the security footage. Minutes felt like hours as the woman stood, silent tears rolling down her cheeks. She looked at James, her lips parting as if to say thank you, but no sound came out. When the footage played back, the truth was clear. She hadn't stolen anything. Every item was scanned, every payment made. The guard's face drained of color, and the manager quickly ordered her release. Whispers spread through the crowd, some embarrassed for judging too quickly, others quietly admiring James's courage. But the biggest surprise came when the woman pulled herself together, wiped her tears, and finally spoke. "I didn't want this to come out, but I can't stay silent anymore. My name is Captain Sarah Mitchell. I serve with the city police department. I came in off duty, just as a mother, just as a woman doing her shopping. And even then, I was treated like a criminal." Gasps spread across the store. She was an officer, a protector, yet stripped of dignity in a single moment because of bias, assumption, and arrogance. Sarah looked at James, her voice softer now. "If you hadn't stepped in, I don't know how far this would have gone." "Thank you, truly." James nodded. "We all deserve someone to stand up for us when the world turns its back." He glanced down at Emily, who was holding his hand tighter than ever. "I just did what I'd want someone to do for my little girl one day." Later, as they walked out together, Sarah stopped him. "You're raising her right. Most people would have filmed it and walked away. You chose to act." Her eyes carried the weight of someone who had seen too much darkness but found a moment of light in a stranger's courage. James smiled faintly. "I guess being a soldier never leaves you. The battle just changes." That night, Emily asked her father why he had stepped in. He picked her up, sat her on his knee, and said, "Because doing the right thing isn't always easy. But it's what makes us who we are. Remember that, Em." The story of that day didn't end at the supermarket. The video spread online. Millions watched a veteran defend a woman, only to discover she was a captain of the very police force meant to protect the people. The message was clear: justice isn't about uniforms or titles, it's about courage, compassion, and refusing to stay silent. And as you sit here listening, maybe you feel the weight of those words too. In a world where too many scroll past pain, where too many stay silent when someone is humiliated, ask yourself, who will you be? Will you stand by, or will you stand up? If James's story touched your heart, don't just let it pass. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Because the more we tell stories like this, the more we remind the world that one voice, one choice, can change everything. And maybe, just maybe, the courage you hear today will be the courage you carry tomorrow.